All right, we're live. Welcome to episode 39 of the Proweiqi Baduk Podcast. I'm Shell Dai, and we have again Gaza, you're much more excited this time. Maybe it's because of the start of the Korean League season, or because of the Proweiqi Awards. I don't know which one it is, but I guess
I'm excited because it's a new year.
Cool, very good. Happy New Year, Gaza. We had talked about the Proweiqi Annual Awards 2022, and we have some results from the fans already. So Gaza, am I right in thinking that this annual awards is purely just based on fan voting?
Well, we had a discussion about this, and I think it is purely fan voting. Although perhaps we can have some discretion if there are ties.
Right. Okay, so our only power is in when there's a tie. Now, because we're both fans, I do believe we have both voted for this. So I don't know if you have voted on all the categories yet, but I definitely have.
There is one that I didn't vote on out of principle.
Yeah, and that is
Rising Star of the Year. I didn't vote out of principle because my nominee was not listed.
Was not listed. Was your nominee Kevin Yang?
My nominee was Kevin Yang. Yes.
Unfortunately, you know what? Because it's a new year, it's a holiday. I barely even have time to sit in front of a computer. So when I do have that 2 minutes where I do, I just rush the polls, mate. But I'm not 100% sure if had we put Kevin Yang there, if he had won. But maybe the viewers can tell us what's happening. But Gaza, given that you haven't voted, let's go through the three nominees that we had. They were Kim Eunji, which happens to be my choice, and Nakamura Sumire, and then Wang Xinghao. It was a reasonably close contest. I honestly thought Kim Eunji would win it because she's had such outstanding results. But looks like the fans have voted for Nakamura Sumire, Gaza.
Well, it's interesting. Wang Xinghao perhaps had the best results in the youth events, namely winning the Globus Cup and also winning the his country's Rookie King. On the other hand, Nakamura Sumire and Kim Eunji, they didn't even get close to winning their country's Rookie Kings. So
No.
Wang Xinghao is probably also in terms of just pure ability, you would have to say Wang Xinghao is the strongest of these three.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
On the other hand, Kim Eunji, I mean, she did just set a record for
most wins. Right?
Most wins.
Yeah.
In a calendar year, and that's not even a junior record. That's an all-time record, male or female.
Yeah.
Junior or open. So outstanding year for her, and that includes 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
And then we've got Nakamura Sumire. The one thing she has over the other two is that she actually participated in a world major.
Yeah.
Not only that, but she won a game.
Yeah. And we'll talk about the head-to-head of Kim Eunji and Nakamura Sumire a bit later in the podcast. But maybe, Nakamura Sumire is younger than Kim Eunji, but maybe there is still a strength difference between the two at this stage.
Yeah, it's interesting you mention that because yes, there was an exhibition match.
Yeah.
Between the two, that happened this week, and obviously we're going to have a look at that later on in the podcast. So very interesting that 2 of the nominees for Rising Star ended up playing against each other early in 2023.
Yeah. Now, I guess I'll keep going. Sorry, you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the professionals also agree that these 2 are some of the 2 of the most potential in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from that angle, it's interesting they didn't invite anyone from China, like for example Wu Yiming, which would be in a similar age range. But hey, whatever. These 2 are kind of grabbing the spotlight. I was gonna say, actually I can't remember what I was gonna say, but anyway, whatever. Okay, so that's the congrats to our winner Nakamura Sumire. Oh, I was going to say, I wonder if the reader of the Proweiqi subreddit has a little bit of a Japanese bias, because I have heard complaints before that of the people who like to play Go, and they tend to like Japan more so than, for example, Korea or China, just because their exposure to the Go culture would have primarily come from Japanese sources, like for example Hikaru no Go, or obviously in the past when Japan was the strongest Go playing nation, like in the 70s and 60s. So I wonder if that's got anything to do with that. But otherwise, congrats to Nakamura Sumire. Woohoo! Now, guys,
we'll try and contact her and let her know that she's won this incredible award,
and see if we can find her. I think she'll be ecstatic about this. And okay, to another category that's been closed, which is the disappointment of the year, where voting have closed 1 day ago. Now, this is a very, very close one. Now, so let's go through the 5 nominees that we have, from least number of votes to the most number of votes. So with 1 vote, we have Ding Hao playing like garbage after rising to number 2 in China and going 1-8 in the Asian Game qualifiers and first round exit in Lanka Cup. They only got one vote. So
interesting. People didn't think it was. I guess people don't consider just players playing bad to necessarily be disappointing.
Yeah.
Perhaps people thought, well, I mean, he did end up, later on in the year, he made the LG Cup final.
Yeah.
So he clearly just had a bad patch, perhaps, and so it's not really that big a deal. But I mean, to miss out on the Asian Games team the way he did is, I mean, it's not something that he'll he's got to wait however many years till the next Asian Games if he wants to compete in that again. So it's still quite disappointing.
Yeah. Now, after that, we have on 3 votes, Chinese competitions postponements. So we have the Chuzhou Lanka Cup, the international version, that's been postponed. The Asian Games been postponed. The Goseigan Cup or Wu Qingyuan Cup was once postponed, but they decided to hold it anyway because one of the finalists was pregnant. And of course, the M Lily Cup, I do believe it was meant to have taken place in early January. Now it's been postponed. But I guess the silver lining is that China have opened up, and hopefully COVID situation there will settle down and we can have all of these competitions back soon. But they got 3 votes. So Gaza, anything special you want to comment about that?
No,
because we have on the next one, it's got 6 votes, so double the amount of votes of the last one, which is we have Tenfu Cup and Bailing Cup being discontinued. Now they are both international major competitions, so a bit sad.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. The Bailing Cup had 4 editions, and the 5th edition, some countries already. Some countries did have their qualification take place, several years ago, and only now they've said, we're not going to have it anymore. Whereas the Tianfu Cup only ended up having 1 iteration.
Yeah.
Before they, gave up. And Tianfu Cup is actually the newest. It was actually the newest world major before the Chuzhou Lanka Cup, so it didn't. It didn't last long at all.
Yeah, I guess if anything, there's some news coming out of China that 2 major, like rice wine companies in China are in talks with the CWA, with the view to potentially start international competitions. Maybe it's to fill the hole created by Tenfu and Bailing being discontinued. So. Let's watch this space to see if anything comes of it. Now, on 1 more vote than the last one, we have on 7 votes, no news on the In Cup final. I think this is a little bit of a continued theme about China. Now, in Cup, I believe the in Foundation is not based in China. Or actually, it might be based in Shanghai, or it might be based in Taipei. I can't remember. I don't know exactly, but I do. Believe they have at least part of the organization based in Shanghai. Obviously, it's an organization designed to promote growth worldwide, and so the in Cup final has been postponed for a long time, hasn't it, Gaza?
Well, the semi-finals were played in January 2021.
Yeah.
So, and it's been nearly 2 years now.
Oh wow.
2 full years since the since the semi-finals.
Yeah.
And we still have no news on when the final will take place.
Yeah. And so hopefully we'll hear news about it soon. But it is true that the In Cup, the In Foundation, Go Foundation, they really wanted to hold this in person, this final in person. So that's why it's been postponed. I also got news that it's no longer a best of 5. It's only a best of 3 now, in keeping with other international majors, how other international majors are done. So yeah, but really looking forward to it. Of course, the finalists are Shin Jin-so and Shea Kerr, and I guess we'll see if Shin Jin-so can win another international title. But taking up top spot and therefore winning disappointment of the year is, on 8 votes, Lee Dong-hoon retires in his prime. Gaza, this is truly very, very disappointing, and the fans agree.
Yes, I voted on this one myself.
Yeah.
It's so disappointing that you actually spelled his name wrong in the poll.
Right.
But ignoring that, yes, the I remember when I first noticed, it seemed like he'd made the decision actually in 2021.
Right.
But he played his last games in 2022, and it wasn't really, the news wasn't really made public that he'd basically given up on Go until he'd finished his Maxim Cup games, his Maxim Cup final. But I do recall in the second half of 2021 when he didn't enter the preliminaries for the Korea's Strongest tournament. And after that, he didn't enter. It turned out he didn't enter any preliminaries in any future tournaments.
Right.
From then on, so it seemed like he'd made his decision around that time, and it is disappointing because not only is he quite young, but he was also seemed to still be getting better. Right. He did well in his last season in the JAR League, and he made the final in both the Hanguk Kiwon Championship and the Maxim Cup.
Yeah.
So clearly his heart's not in it anymore, and it doesn't look like he's going to be coming back.
Okay. Wow.
So, yeah, very, very disappointing, and I think a worthy winner of disappointment of the year. Hopefully we can contact him and let him know that he's won.
Yeah, we'll see about that, Gaza. I don't remember if any other category have closed. I don't remember.
No, they're the only 2 that have finished.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So, and then we'll have more categories to cover up. Please do come and vote on the bad moves of the year. I just put it up today, and I even put in pictures to explain why they were bad moves. So to help jog your memory, if you don't remember, there were some truly gems in there, some true gems in there. So that's our coverage of the Proweiqi Awards. We'll continue there for a couple more episodes to see where we get to. But for now, let's focus on what we have alluded to before, which is the Sumire versus Kim Eunji special. Gaza, this is not a very good one for. I thought I had sorted it by news. Yeah, so they played 3 games, and the results are not in here. The key food may not be in here. Maybe I should just add the key food. But Gaza, shall we say, in game 1, Sumire.
Can we preface this? This is a exhibition match between Kim Eunji and Nakamura Sumire.
Yeah.
So these are unofficial games. So they don't count for rating. They don't count on the players' official win-loss record, and they don't count for promotion or anything like that. They're unofficial games.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they ended up bringing Sumire over to Korea, and they played over the board, face to face.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. I assumed that they were going to do it remotely, but no, they actually flew Sumire over to Korea, and they played a best of 3. So I think they ended up only playing 2 games.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. That's because Kim Eunji ended up winning 2-0. Now, Gaza,
Right.
what do you mean? Did you say wrong?
No, right. I said
Yeah,
right.
right. Yeah. Gaza, there was we had one of our friends was very convinced, even before the first turn has been put on the board, that Kim Eunji was gonna win, wasn't he?
Yes, we have a friend. He actually might be
watching it.
I think now? he's watching the stream right now. He had a friend who had a outrageous wager with me. He said he was going to bet one of his body parts.
Yeah, body parts.
I'm not gonna specify which one.
Yeah.
But he bet one of his body parts that Kim Eunji would win.
Yeah.
And I declined the bet because I thought that was quite disturbing.
Yeah.
But he was very confident. He was very confident in Kim Eunji's ability to beat Nakamura Sumire.
Yeah. And at some point during that game 1, and it was like it almost looked like that if you had taken the bet, our friend would be losing one of the key parts of his body, but it didn't.
It certainly, yeah. So what you're saying is Nakamura Sumire certainly had some good chances in game 1.
Yeah, and I didn't count, but this one it apparently, according to AI, black is ahead. So black is Nakamura Sumire, white is Kim Eunji. So black is quite ahead at this point. So if Nakamura Sumire can just play calmly and normally, he might be. She's in for a very good chance to win. As you can see here, actually this black group in the middle is actually connected already, because either if white connects, then black can just come out here. So this black group is not necessarily in that much danger unless white plays one more move. But yeah, apparently when Kim Eunji play here, all Sumire had to do was just to connect up here and make sure this black group is safely connected back to the main base.
Yes.
And black will be winning. But I don't know, for whatever reason, Kim, maybe it's a huge misread. Sumire decides to cut, and even when Kim Eunji Atari, I think Sumire still has a chance to just connect here, but she didn't. She actually connected here, and then Kim Eunji just Atari and separated this black group from the rest.
Can you?
Yeah.
Can you? All right. Yeah. Right.
You wanted to say something?
No. Sorry. No. Yeah. I see what you're doing there. Yeah.
So so now notice that this black group is being cut off. This black group in the middle is safe because you can either take these 2 stones or capture this 1 stone. So this black group is fine. So it's all attention is on this black group. So obviously Sumire has to live, and Sumire resigned here. Because Sumire also needs to kind of threaten this white group, otherwise she will not have enough points, I guess. So Gaza, do you know what's the status of this black group over here? Is it even alive?
Surely it's alive. I mean, it's got an eye on the side. It's got an
eye here. So what about here? Can it make another eye?
Oh.
This is tricky, right? But
anyway, maybe it can't.
Yeah. Very, very tricky. So, and then
it's hard to say. I would say it's. I mean, it's Black's turn, right?
It's Black's turn. So I mean, obviously this does look like a key point. So maybe if Black plays here or something.
What
Again,
about the spot
Atari.
next? Surely.
Yeah.
Oh no, it actually looks quite bad.
Mm.
It looks
Whatever it is, it does look like maybe Black does need to add at least one move, or maybe even adding one move is not enough. I'm not 100% sure of the status of this group. I didn't look at it carefully, but obviously Sumire thought that it's not. She doesn't have enough to go on anymore, so she decided to resign at this point. But yeah, even up to a few moves earlier, AI was saying that Sumire is way ahead. So, but good, congrats to Kim Eunji. She's able to see things. It seems like she's able to see things in very close contact fights that Nakamura Sumire maybe misses, especially during Byoyomi. So, yeah. So,
But
yeah.
okay, so I checked with an AI and
Yeah.
it seems to think that Black group is dead.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, yeah, it doesn't look that good to me anyway. Well, anyway,
But
yeah.
it's do you know? I just want to quickly ask. Do you know what the time controls were for this? I'm not sure if we ever.
Oh, I can't
No.
remember. I thought it was a very fast kind of thing, time control. I really don't remember what it
I
was.
do know that they did have 1 minute Byoyomi, but I don't know what their main time was.
Right. Unfortunately,
Um,
these things don't record the times.
no, they don't. But we did. I'm going to
Yeah.
try
Well,
and find it because there is a live stream.
all
But
right.
I'll try.
Well,
I'll do that in the background.
while you're looking for that, maybe we'll look at the second game quickly. Now, also the second game also didn't look at the Kifu very closely, but I do remember that they were kind of just going for a fight, somewhere around here.
Mm.
Yeah. So in this game, Sumire is white, Kim Eunji is black.
Yes.
Uh,
And the time controls were 30 minutes.
right.
60-second Byoyomi. So once they ran out of 30 minutes, it was 60 seconds to move. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this game was a must win
Yeah.
for Sumire. This game too
Yeah.
in this exhibition. Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't say that Sumire is definitely ahead, but it up to this point in the game, I do believe if you look at Black's situation, basically Black's got these three black stones down here that he must try to escape. But I guess White also got her stones kind of stuck here, so it's kind of like a do or die fight between these two, this black group and this white group, and yeah. Okay, so anyway, Sumire managed to connect under, but that kind of just got Black the initiative, so Black started attacking this group in the middle. And I
Yes.
remember the commentary saying that when it comes to close contact fights, yeah, it seems like Kim Eunji is just so much better. So just look at with the fighting here. Now Kim Eunji's got this cut here to capture the tail. That's huge, and that's just in a few moves. Moves kind of start fighting, and yeah, and that's actually exactly what ended up happening. Kim Eunji ended up capturing the tail. And I think very soon Sumire just realizes that she doesn't have enough and just resigns afterwards.
Yeah, I think somehow Sumire missed the peep move 172.
172, is that what she missed? 172.
Yeah,
Yeah.
move 173. Sorry. Yeah.
She missed Pip. Yeah. Well, she
Yeah,
decided that
that
she
was a good
must.
move.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so good that that after and then when Kim and Ji decided to put pressure on this group, like why have can't escape, just the shape got completely messed up. It ended up just capturing the tail. That was really nicely played by Kim and Ji. So it seems to be, from one of the commentary I read, is that they said that perhaps Sumire plays in the Japanese women's competition where fighting seems to be kind of it's not something that the Japanese women play are great at. Maybe apart from a couple of players like your UNO asamis, and so Sumire haven't had enough training in close contact fights. But anyway, whatever it is, Sumire ended up losing this game.
I would say that perhaps more so Kim Eunji is better at these time controls.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but overall, I think Sumire had her chances, but it just wasn't enough. Now, a couple of viewers have noticed how Kim Eunji is Sumire does this death stare during the games. There was a capture of some of that, and I've noticed that Sumire does. I think after both games, I think they do the live interview right after the games, and it did feel like that Sumire was have a little bit of tear in her eyes during both. So
she played well though.
Yeah, she's playing well. She's learning to adjust, and hopefully, and she's still younger than Kim Eunji. So I'm really hoping to see an intense rivalry between these two in the coming years. But this round, Kim Eunji was definitely the better player. So congrats to Kim Eunji for winning this special. I do wonder what the prize money was. I think I do remember mentioning it at some point, but I can't remember myself. I think it's
I'm not sure what the
1 million won per game, and a winner gets 1 million. So you get 2 million wons per win. Yeah.
So Kim Eunji won 2 million won for winning 2 games, and then she won an extra 1 million won.
I'm not sure. See, based on the translation, I'm not sure if it's the 1 million won is per game or for the whole thing. That I'm not sure. I'm hoping that it's per game. Otherwise, it does feel too stingy. But whatever, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was still I think it was still an exciting exhibition. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was definitely good. Now
I didn't get to watch it very much because I was on holiday. Which is also why we're doing the podcast on a Sunday, not a Friday.
Yeah.
So
I'm similar because when I'm on holiday mode, I have so many other things to do, so I don't really get enough time to watch the key foods or the games. But
so both of us are a little bit rusty on actually watching the recent games, but we have tried to catch up today.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. And now, guys, I was wondering why did they put up this special at this particular time, and I kind of figured the reason is potentially because of what we're going to talk about next, which is the Choi Jeong versus Kim Cheayoung Korea's Strongest Women final, best of 5. I think this competition is sponsored by Dr.G, so perhaps you know it as the Dr.G competition, but it's the best of 5 that's happened at the same time as the Kim Eunji versus Sumire special. So maybe the other channel wanted to put the Kim Eunji versus Sumire special up at the same time as Choi Jeong versus Kim Cheayoung, so they don't lose too much on the ratings. That's my guess.
Interesting theory, but this tournament, I think we've discussed this for the last 3 or 4 podcasts.
Yeah,
and it's finally come to its conclusion.
Yeah,
the final between Choi Jeong and Kim Cheayoung, the 2 highest rated women in Korea.
Yeah.
So perhaps an expected final. Best of 5.
Yeah.
But it turned out they only needed 3 games to determine a champion.
Right, yeah. Which is a bit of a shame. But now, Gaza, I don't know if there's anything else, anything you wanted to talk about in game 1 and 2, because I didn't really watch the Kifu, but game 3 perhaps we can have a quick look at.
So I also I'm gonna see if I can try and find. I'm just quickly glancing over the Kifus here. So Kim game 1, I think Kim Cheayoung had a good was ahead in the middle game.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where she went wrong. I didn't actually. Yeah, I wasn't able to watch this game. Um,
Well, I mean the bottom bottom right hand side corner is an interesting variation of the Mii's flying dagger.
yes.
I personally have not seen this variation before, but I don't. But then again, I don't really know too many variations. But this does seem interesting. Okay, so whoa, what's happened there? Okay, so they play out very interesting variation. They start a code in the corner right away. But by the way, black is Choi Jeong in this case. White is Kim Cheayoung. Yeah, yeah, I don't know if there's anything too interesting that I can say here. But apart from that, it ended up being that Choi Jeong ended up winning this, and I do believe the reversal percentage is 98%. So Choi Jeong had to reverse this game by quite a bit. Now, one thing maybe, and also in game two, Choi Jeong just won the game after reversing colors. So again, that's a good game for Choi Jeong. Now, after game three, you know, Gaza, you recommended me to look at just before we started the podcast. So I did look at it.
Game two. I just quickly looked at game two. There's really nothing much to say there, but yeah, except that Choi Jeong won that one as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the interesting one, the one that piqued my interest was game three.
Yeah.
Now this game happened yesterday,
Yeah.
as of this recording of the podcast, and it Did you want to discuss it?
Yeah. Now I obviously I didn't look at the key foods too much, but I just remember they just does this crazy fight around here. Maybe Choi Jeong is black in this game. Kim Cheayoung is white. Perhaps white is already behind at this point. I'm not sure. I haven't checked with AI. But it does look like that white's got a few stones that are kind of scattered a bit everywhere. But they're not working together, maybe. But I think what got me very curious was when this fight finished around here, because you can see here white tries to come out really really hard, and white kind of just managed to come out like just right just. And also the worst thing is what black can still run with his two stones. So that's when I thought, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good for white. And this is only at move 76, okay? And remember, Kim Cheayoung have to win this game as white. Kim Cheayoung have to win to keep herself in this best of 5. But maybe her whole morale, her psyche has already been crushed in the first 2 games, because it kind of just collapsed right afterwards. And Kim Cheayoung just decided that there's not enough to play for, because this white group is going to be in so much trouble that it's not worth playing any further. So Kim Cheayoung resigned at this point, and only 85 moves have been played. So this is quite crazy.
Yeah, this is quite exceptional. Any game that lasts less than 100 moves is it's not very common in professional games, especially in Korean games, because they will often, fight to the bitter end until there's just no chances left. But it seems like this white is in very big trouble, or like a huge amount of trouble already, and Kim Cheayoung has decided that she doesn't want to continue the suffering.
I mean, it does look pretty horrible for white, because all of these stones here are basically dead. This group is probably going to die, so it's a complete disaster for white.
I mean, even if it doesn't die, it's not getting any points.
So
it's not a fun time for white, and perhaps it's not a good game by Kim Cheayoung, I'm afraid.
So
it's interesting because this tournament is actually, along with the Myungin and the Open Korea's Strongest, is actually streamed on the Baduk
Right.
YouTube channel, which
Yeah.
is not the same as the Baduk TV channel. It's a different channel.
Yeah.
But they're the ones that stream it. And often in their streams, what they'll do is when they've determined that, it's a fairly quiet moment in the game, they'll switch to a flashback of an
Right.
older game,
Yeah.
featuring one of the players.
Yeah.
So often, for instance, it might be an earlier round game, like maybe they'll flash back to when they played in the league in the group stage.
Yeah.
So having replays, which can be a little bit confusing if you're watching the stream and you're not watching it diligently, like you glance at it every 5 minutes or so, and then you look at the game and you see that the someone's leading by a huge amount, and then only later do you find out it's not the actual game that you're watching, but an old game, a replay.
Yeah.
But in this one, they were showing a replay, and then I think they had to cut back early because the game was just about done.
Right.
They only just caught Kim Cheayoung resigning.
Oh wow.
Both players had more than half an hour of main time still, so
That's crazy. Yeah. Definitely not Kim Cheayoung's Kim Cheayoung's series. I mean, I guess also no one really doubts Choi Jeong is the strongest women player in Korea, but now that she's also claimed the crown of the Korea's strongest women, so congrats to Choi Jeong. Maybe we'll also try to contact Choi Jeong to see if she hears about our congratulations. So
sure.
We'll see how that goes. Gaza.
So she also takes an early lead in the title count for 2023. She's at 1.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Gaza, did we mention last week how the playoffs went for Dr.G?
We did.
Okay.
I believe we did.
Okay.
Just to remind everyone, Jin finished 3rd.
Yep.
And she will be seeded. She will automatically get a spot in next year's tournament.
Yep.
Kim Eunji finished 4th, and Hyo Hyun finished 5th. And I believe both of those, if they want to compete in
next year
in next season's tournament,
yep,
they'll have to qualify.
Yep. So congrats to Choi Jeong again. So she will definitely be in the league.
Obviously, Kim Cheayoung will still be in the league because she finished in the top 3.
Yeah, very nice.
Yes.
So Gaza, talking about the Dr.G League, shall we talk a little bit about the Korean Baduk League, which has continued to throw up some surprises, shall we say?
Yes. So a few more rounds.
Yep.
By rounds I mean matches.
Yep.
In the Baduk League have taken place. It seems like it's not. I believe there are 12 teams, but I don't think every round is 6 matches with all 12 teams participating. They seem to chop and change a little bit. Some teams will play no games in a round, and some teams will play 2 games. I'm not entirely sure why, but it may be an availability thing, especially with Taiwan and Japan,
right?
Competing in this tournament. But we're not going to cover all of the matches this time, but there were 2 that I wanted to focus on. Now, one of them I just want to focus on briefly, and that is beautiful Hapcheon versus a Wonik.
That's fun.
I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It just says Wonik, so I'm calling them Wonik.
Yeah.
Now, beautiful Hapcheon, they won the entire competition last year. And not only that, but they actually kept almost their entire team. They were able to keep them instead of releasing them in the draft.
Yep.
The only player that left was Na Huyn.
Right.
And that was due to military service. He's not competing at all in the Baduk League.
Yeah.
But they did keep their three top performers, Park Jun-hwan, Park Young-hun, and Park Jong-hoon. And they also kept Kim Jin-hui, who didn't have a shabby season either. So I consider them to be the favourites to win, to repeat and win this season. And on, what was it? Thursday.
Yeah.
They had their first game, and it was against Team Wonik, who I thought considered to be one of the weaker teams.
Right.
In
And
the league.
They're weaker because I look at the 4 players they have put out, which is Lee Young-gu, Lee Jit-hoon, Han Sun-ju, and Sung Ji-hoon. So I would say Lee Jit-hoon might be their most famous player.
Lee Ji-hoon is their number 1 player in terms of the seeding of the players in the team.
Right.
Lee Ji-hoon is the number 1 seed. However, he's not even in the top 20.
Right.
In the Korean rankings. In fact, none of their players are in the top 20.
Right.
As of the January rankings. So that's why I consider them to be one of the weaker teams. They don't have anyone in the top 20.
Yeah.
Now, beautiful Hapcheon, they actually have 2 players in the top 20. Park Jong-hoon and Park Jun-hwan.
Yep.
Park Young-hoon is number 25.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, yeah, I expected them to probably win maybe 3-1.
Right.
Or something like that. Maybe Lee Ji-hoon would win, but I expected Beautiful Hapcheon to win all of the others. They ended up winning no games. They lost 4-0. Yes.
Yeah.
Quite incredible. Lee Young-gu beat Park Jun-hwan, which is a huge shock. Park Jun-hwan is number 3 in Korea. Lee Young-gu is number 27.
And Gaza, it says here Lee won on time.
Oh, he won on time?
It says W plus T.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't get to watch the game. I'll see if I can try and find the Kifu.
The Kifu I have here. Let's see what happened at the end. So Lee. Oh, actually, it says time, but I think it's lost for Park Jun-hwan anyway because he's
Park Jun-hwan made a big mistake and he was losing.
He's in trouble anyway. Yeah, maybe he just let time run out because he couldn't think of a solution.
That can happen. So nothing controversial there in terms of time. He was definitely lost.
Yeah.
But Lee Ji-hoon, he beat Park Young-hoon. That was the only one that I sort of thought was expected.
Plausible? Right. Okay.
Yeah, Kim Jin-hui lost, and Park Jong-hoon lost to Song Ji-hoon. Now Song Ji-hoon is actually he's not bad.
Yeah.
He's number 26.
Right.
In the Korean rankings. All of these players are around about the top 30. So
okay, that's not bad.
I guess anything can happen, but for the defending champions, so they're all in good form. Come the end of last season, and none of them win. Pretty strange.
Yeah.
But well done to Team Wonik.
Yep.
They looks like they've drafted well.
Yep.
Maybe these players are a little bit underrated.
Maybe.
And beautiful Hapcheon. It's not going to be easy defending their title. It turns out.
No. Yeah.
So now they're actually beautiful Hapcheon. They're actually playing tonight as well, and they're playing the Taiwanese team, who we already reported on having a very impressive win in the opening match of the league.
Yeah.
And this is happening right now on Baduk TV. So if people actually want to go to the Baduk TV live stream and watch the games, by all means go ahead. It's a great YouTube channel, Baduk TV, and they stream a lot of games, including all of the Baduk League games. So please check it out if you do have the time.
Even whatever I'm doing, I always put it in the background and just take a glance at it whenever I can, especially if Team Taiwan or Team Japan is playing. So I'll put the link into our Discord as well. So it's really good. So
now the other match that I wanted to talk about was Team Japan's first match in the Korean Baduk League.
Yeah,
and they were playing. I don't know who that. I don't know the team.
Jeongkwanjang Cheonnok.
Oh yeah, Jeongkwanjang Cheonnok.
Yeah.
Yes, them. And that really rolls off the tongue, but that's Byeonsang Il's team.
Yeah.
This season, obviously Byeonsang Il used to play for POSCO Chemical, but he had to. They couldn't keep him anymore. They ran out of. The rules say you can only keep a player for so long, so they had to release him into the draft. So he got picked up by Jeongkwanjang Cheonnok.
Yep.
And Team Japan, this is their first game, their first match in the Korean Baduk League. So people were wondering, Japan, in the past 10, 15 years, Japan have been relatively weak compared to Korea, at least.
Yeah, or at the most elite level.
At the most elite level, yes. At the very top level.
Yeah.
And this Japanese team, furthermore, this isn't unlike the Taiwanese team who seem to have, picked their absolute best players. This Japanese team is not the best possible. There's no Ichiriki Ryo, there's no Ayama Yuta, there's no Shibano, there's no Su Shaowan, there's not even Yu Zhengqi.
Yeah.
But it seems to be a more of a rookie team.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say pure rookies.
Yeah.
But very much youth focused.
Only one title holder.
Hey?
Only one title holder.
They do have a title holder. They have Seki Kitaro, the Tengen. They also have Hirata Tomoya. Is that right? Do they have Hirata Tomoya?
Yeah, Hirata Tomoya didn't play on yesterday's round, but he is part of the team. Yes.
So this match was played. It wasn't actually played yesterday. It was played on Thursday.
Oh, okay. It was on Thursday.
But they also have Hiroshi Yuichi.
Yep.
And he was the player that did well for Team Japan in the Yi League.
Yep. In China. Yep.
Yes. Yuki Sakai, the reigning rookie king for Japan.
Yep.
And also Kitaro Fukuoka.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I'm not sure. Are they all the players that played?
I think that only 5 players have played yesterday. Of course, they also have other players like Onishi Ryosei or something in the team. Can't remember. Yeah.
Yes.
So they have a couple more other players, but these are the main ones.
Yes. So let's see. Let's try and have a look at some of the matchups.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah.
So board 1 was Yuki Sakai, the reigning Japanese rookie king,
versus Honmunji.
And he was playing Hong Song-ji, the number 2 player for Jeongkwanjang.
Yep.
And this one took a very interesting turn early on in the game. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Now I don't remember exactly when the things happened, but I do remember this game was not broadcast at all. But I did watch the Kifu, and
this game actually was broadcast.
Oh, right, okay.
It was definitely broadcast, but not from the beginning.
Right.
So the Baduk TV. Well, most of these games, like some of these games, start at the same time.
Right.
So Baduk TV will obviously they'll only broadcast one game. So they basically pick one, and Byun-sang-il was playing at the same time. So they were mainly broadcasting Byun-sang-il's game. But once that one finished, I think they switched over to this game.
Right.
So unfortunately, a lot of the excitement happened, well before it switched over to the broadcast.
Yeah. So we're looking here. I think the game got really interesting in the right from the beginning. Now, for example, so this game, Hong Seung-ji is black. Yuki Sakai Yuki is white. So I have not seen this white move before, attaching early to this black jump, but maybe someone who watches pro games more often or knows AI may have seen this. It feels a bit rarer to attach here, so that's the first thing. And then they kind of just start this crazy fight here. But now black Tenuki and Sakai Yuki, I thought maybe perhaps he's done some research in this area or whatever it is. So he's already put black in quite a bit of trouble. So look at what's happened here. Black in the corner obviously is not alive, but of course white is also surrounded. So yeah, it becomes, and then obviously this move is just a common Tetsuji in this shape for white. So plays here, and it ends up now right at the beginning. White's created a killing sequence. It's either a code or white can kill black. So imagine if white takes away this eye, then black will be dead. So black creates an eye over here at the bottom left, then white can play here to start a code, which is actually exactly what happened in the game. But of course, look at white here is also not fully alive. So it became a really exciting fight right from the beginning. So that's when they initiate the code sequence. Yeah. So that's very, very interesting, and it's all down to pure reading. Lots of things that can go wrong. Now AI said that neither player played perfectly, so the AI graph is like a seesaw in this area. But it does look like that. At one point, it looks like Hong is have a decisive lead, and then a couple of moves later, it looks like Yuki Sakai's got a decisive lead or whatever it is. But I think Yuki Sakai played really well here. He finished off the ko, won the ko, and basically after fighting this ko for a bit more, he ended up just killing this whole black group down here. This whole black group is dead. Not Seki, not anything else, just pure dead. So you would have, but of course black's got some profit over here and got quite thick in the middle. But you would have to say that white is ahead because it just got too many points. Yeah. And,
well, at this point, white was well ahead, but Hong Seung-ji, he didn't give up, and perhaps it's because, firstly, this is a team event. So when you're representing a team, you usually fight a bit longer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know. It's not
before
to
giving up. Yeah, and secondly,
a
whole side of the board hadn't been finished yet.
Yeah,
like the whole left side is almost untouched. So maybe Hong Seung-ji black can create some complications.
Yeah.
There and fight back and it turned out that this game still had
lots of legs,
more stories to tell.
Yeah. Now this is 100% true because the board is so open. If you recall, there was a game where Kerje was well ahead versus Kang Dongyun, and the commentator said, "Well, the board is still wide open, so anything can happen." But so even though it looks like that white is ahead, white is not 100% safe. Look at here, this whole white group could be in trouble if not careful. But anyway, so I thought if I played this, I thought white would be in a little bit of trouble. I would have to think very hard on how to live, but Yuki Sakai found the right kind of idea, which is to make this black group also not alive, and then when black tries to save itself, it can get a better chance of living. So I think at this point, white is basically alive, yeah, because if black Atari is here, white can Atari, and then make an eye in the middle as well, so there's 2 eyes at least. So white can live by giving up the tail, but there may be a better way to live without giving up the tail. But at a minimum, white's already alive. So you would have thought that at this point, Yuki Sakai's got a fairly decisive lead, but credit to Hong Seong-ji, he kind of found the right idea to threaten white, which is to kind of threaten the living status of this group. And he's played really well here. I think at this point, both players are in short on time. But you see how Kim Eunji just squeezes the eye away and threatening, keep putting more pressure on his white group, and his white group actually isn't alive. This game is actually very interesting. So they keep fighting. So white ended up living, and black tries to live inside white's territory. It's got to become a very, very, very exciting fight. And now at this point, this is a key point in the group. Now apparently, when Yuki Sakai, AI says Yuki Sakai is behind if black plays correctly, and I think apparently the correct move is for black to Hane here, to take away one of white's liberties, but to understand that you need a lot of reading, I think. But Kim Eunji just plays extend, which means that white has one more liberty than normal, and white just kind of make his liberties as big as possible. And when Yuki Sakai Atari, either Hong ran out of time or he resigned, because that's when the game ended. By official records, it says it's lost by time, but perhaps this is too late for black already, because white's got so many liberties. So in a capturing race, black would be in trouble. So that's how the game ended. So there's at least one win for Japan. So very nicely done.
Yes. Yes, and it was a very exciting game as well.
Yeah, this was to me the game of the week for me, because it was there were so many twists and turns in the fights, and at one point I thought, Sakai is definitely winning, and I said, he messed up, he might be losing, and then 3 moves later, Hong is losing, and then keeps on going back and forth. Very, very exciting game to watch. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, board 2 was this was Byun Sang-il.
Yeah.
Byun Sang-il. Pardon?
Yep. You're not keep going. Yeah. Byun Sang-il.
Yeah, number 2 in Korea.
Yeah.
And he was playing Koike Yoshihiro.
Yeah. Now, Gaza, I probably won't go through the moves. I want to show you just exactly what's happened at the end. I think when I was watching the Kifu, it just felt like that Byun had just a better understanding of the game. It feels like I noticed that none of black's groups are dead. Like all of black groups are alive. But look how huge the middle is, and white is Byun Sang-il. So look how huge the middle is, and white's got a decent corner on the side over here. So I think it's black might be behind by around 10 points. I think something like that. So so it's a pretty good win for Byung Sang-il. Yeah,
keep going.
I was gonna say it's just what I said before, which is that watching the Kifu live, it felt like that Byung Sang-il just had a better understanding of the game. Like he knew where the bigger moves are, and then he played a few of those, and then and a few moves later he's got a bigger middle that Proweiqi can't break through, and he won the game fairly easy, comfortably. Yeah,
it was a solid win, but I have to say it was in my mind, a very atypical Byun Sang-il game,
because he didn't go for crazy fighting.
He didn't seem to play hyper aggressively. He didn't seem to just play kamikaze moves or however you would often describe his games. He played very patient, solid, and seemed to be satisfied with the small edges that he had, and was quite content to just maintain his the advantages, the small advantages that he was getting with each move, until by the end, he didn't kill anything, but he was winning comfortably.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's obviously, we know that he can play like that, because he's you don't become the second best player in Korea without being able to be good at any style. But it's definitely good to it's good to see some variety in his game, and that bodes well for him for the future to know that he can. I mean, Koike Yoshihiro is still he's still a top Japanese player, so it's good to see that Byung Sang-il is a top. He can play at the top level with this style as well as his usual hyper aggressiveness. Yeah, very impressive win by Byung Sang-il, and that made it 1 apiece in this match.
Yes. And so therefore, I think at this time there were about maybe a couple of games that's gonna go ongoing concurrently.
I watched this stream, and I feel that maybe the board 3 and 4 start a bit later.
Yeah, I think. I'm not. I heard there's a rule that you're not allowed to have more than three simultaneous games, and I do think they do start every match with just 2 games, and then maybe 20 minutes later they start the third one, or maybe a bit later they start the third one.
Yes, that seemed to be the case. But the third one was now I believe this is Japan's number 1 player in this team, Seki Kotaro.
Seki Kotaro, yep.
He's the only 9-dan in the Japanese team.
Yeah.
And he is also the only title holder, or the only major title holder. He currently holds the Tengen, which he recently retained.
Yeah.
Hence why he's 9-dan. And he was playing Kim Jong-hyun. Now, have you ever heard of Kim Jong-hyun?
I can't say I have, no. I don't remember. Yeah.
I don't think I have. I've seen his I've seen him his profile.
Yeah.
But I've never actually watched him play before or seen any of his games. Now, I'll just quickly check what his ranking is.
Yeah.
He's ranked 39 in Korea.
Okay, yeah.
So obviously he's ranked in the top 40.
Yeah.
He turns 32 this year.
Right.
So he's been around a bit. He's been a pro for nearly 14 years now.
Yep.
I don't think he's won any tournaments. I'd have to say he hasn't won any tournaments. I'll correct myself if I find out by next week that he has. But I'd never heard of him before.
No.
But he's obviously a good player, good enough to be in the Baduk League.
Yeah.
And I watched a little bit of this game, and it was a very solid game by him.
Yeah. Now keep going, Gaza.
Yeah, no, I was quite impressed by his play.
Yeah. I was gonna say that when I was watching this game, I just remember watching Seki's body language, and at one point, and after he obviously realizes he's quite behind, so he becomes quite agitated, but it looked like his brain's like working really, really hard to try to find something that he can use to come back in the game. But yeah, I think it was like and I think to Seki's credit, he's actually managed to create some complications. He's tried his best to try and make this game complicated. So I think even at this point, I think Black is ahead. But you see, Seki, he gives me the sense that when he's behind, he was just trying to create some crazy trouble inside the other person's territory. Like look how crazy these 2 stones are. Like this is just 2 stones inside Black's territory. Black's thicker everywhere, but Seki decided that like he needs to do something, and he tried. And look at how crazy the results became. White just seems to be throwing stones around randomly, but he managed to kind of get a living group inside Black's territory. Can you believe it? just like that. So that kind of maybe got him a little bit got him to maybe come back a little bit, but he's still maybe behind. But I do believe that Seki ended up getting to a position where he was where AI assessed that he kind of had a chance to win. Like, you know how he tries really hard to create these complicated situations here, and he's kind of almost did it. Like his white stones here, kind of jumps out. Yeah, but I think Seki actually done quite well. Kind of destroyed quite a bit of Black's territory here. And if you recall, he started with just two lonely stones down here. He managed to create a living group inside Black's thickness, and managed to run out a little bit. And there's still White still have the Yosei to connect later on. So yeah, so Seki, to his credit, like he really did make this very complicated. But then Kim decided that, hey, I'm gonna try and do something inside your territory as well. And even for obviously for amateur players, when a strong player does this, even you have a few stones around, like it's still very nervous. Like you kind of have to know the local variation very well. So yeah, so Kim kind of just lived. White got the Yosei. Yeah, and then Black cleaned up. Yeah, and then I think I can't remember where it was, but apparently Seki's got some chances to get back to this game, but I think he just didn't end up taking it.
I think it was move 170. AI says move 174 was the actual losing move.
Right, 174. There's Atari.
Now, okay. Now, for some reason, they say that White should play a little bit to the right. Yeah, so at N18.
N18 here.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Right, okay.
Or even just descending at G18.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, G18.
Or alternately, playing in the I space at A17.
A17, okay. Destroy this I first. Yeah, okay, maybe A17 was always Sente probably. Maybe G18, the idea maybe was that this black thing doesn't work anymore, maybe. Because currently, whatever it was a very complicated fight. And it was
really complicated, and these guys surely were both in Byoyomi at this point.
Yeah, so I think, but he couldn't quite stop Kim from getting out. So unfortunately.
By the way, we do have a helpful comment from Eugene.
Yeah.
That Kim Jong-hyun was actually the MVP of the Baduk League in 2013.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and he's actually quite notable from around that time.
Right.
So maybe he was actually a very strong player.
Yeah.
I've literally, I don't think I've ever heard of him. I really don't think I've ever heard of him. I must be
might be too.
I must be too new to the pro scene, unfortunately.
But but obviously he's strong enough to defeat a current Japanese title holder. So he's done pretty well.
Well, obviously maybe he was top 10 back in the day. I'll try and check, but Korean League MVP is no joke. So
pretty good. And obviously this situation down here just pure reading. So Black managed to kind of just outread Seki here in the little time that he had. Granted, it is much harder to try and kill someone's stones than to trying to live. But anyway, as I said, credit to Seki for trying to create something. Almost managed to pull the game back, even though he fell behind quite early. But otherwise, it was a good one. So at this point, it's 2-1 for team. What's the Korean team name? 2-1 for
Jeongkwanjang.
Cheonnok. Yeah. Okay, so it's down to the last Japanese player, which is the
Hiroshi Yuichi.
Yeah, to see if he can pull something back.
And he was up against Kwon Ho Jin,
which we've met.
We've met before. He might be best known, unfortunately, for being Nakamura Sumire's victim in the first round of the Samsung Cup last year.
That's right. He actually lost to Sumire in the Samsung Cup. So now, I have to say, when I watch this game, I have to say it's a good game for Hiroshi. Yeah, it's because so Hiroshi, what's his name? Hiroshi something is black.
Hirose Yuichi.
Yuichi, Hirose. Kwon Hoo Jin was black. Now I do believe there's a fight in the top left hand corner, and so this is just common now, this attachment. They ended up just playing some more moves here, and then black started a fight here, and black ended up capturing quite a bit. Oh no, okay, black ended up, you'll see what's happened. So white kind of lived small. White captured these 3 stones, which is not bad. Yeah, and then black tries to move out. Atari. Yeah, because of this thing. Okay. Yeah, so
Yeah,
black
wait,
played pretty well here.
So instead of if you go back, back a bit more.
Yeah.
I think back to move 78.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then black plays the co-threat.
Yeah.
Now I think white should just capture the black
here.
stone, right?
Yeah.
No. Respond to the code by taking there.
But white runs instead. Yeah.
Yeah, but white runs.
Which gives black more co-threats.
Yeah, it gives black more co-threats.
And then more co-threats. Yeah, it gives black more co-threats. And anyway, black decided to finish off the co here. So white got just some bunch of stones. But I think when I looked at this position, I just felt like to me that the Japanese player Hiroshi, he's done pretty well. Like, he just captured all of this solid territory, and he's got this corner here, and this corner is, a bit of this corner is not 100% alive. Yeah, he managed to Atari on the outside as well, pretty good. Yeah, so it kind of adds one more move to make sure this is alive. Yeah, it was a very good game for the Japanese player, because he kind of I felt like he kind of dominated.
Well, I mean, once he won the co, it's pretty hard for white now.
Yeah. So whatever happened next, I think I watched the game for a little bit, but like, he even decided not to fight the co with white, so he must feel that he's quite ahead. But whatever it is, I felt that it was a very comfortable victory for Hiroshi, and so therefore it ended up being 2-2 for what's it called? Jeongkwanjang Cheonnok and Nihon Ki. It was 2-2. And what that means is they have to bring out the last player, and they call it the ace match. And
yes, and this time around, now I believe this is actually the 4th time.
Right.
There's been an ace. In so far this season that they've had an ace match.
Yeah.
And in all 3 prior ace matches, both teams selected a player that was in one of the first 4 games.
Right. Yeah.
Now this time, Team Jeongkwanjang Cheonnok, they also picked one of their 4 players that they've already used.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Byun Sang-il. It was actually Kim Jong-hyun.
Yeah, they picked Kim Jong-hyun. Now, guys, do you have a theory as to why they didn't pick Byung Sang-il, which seems to be a sure bet win?
No, I don't have any theory. I've got no idea.
Yeah. Well,
I've got no idea, but obviously they had faith in Kim Jong-hyun. Maybe Kim Jong-hyun specifically requested it.
Yeah. Well, guys, you have to recall that I think you can only be the ace player 6 times if you have already played in the first 4 games.
Is that the case? So yes. Byun Sang-il has already been an ace player.
Right.
In their first game, it was also tied, and Byun Sang-il was their ace player.
Yeah.
And he did win.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's not good at these fast ones.
Yeah.
But maybe they just didn't want to use him as the ace twice in a row. I don't know.
Right,
but they used Kim Jong-hyun.
Yep.
So he was the other player along with Byun Sang-il to win his regular game.
Yeah.
And now Japan, for the first time,
Yeah.
they used a new player. They used a fifth player, so
Yeah.
someone that hadn't already played.
Mm.
And they're the first team to do it. And they brought in Fukuoka Kotaro.
Yeah, Fukuoka Kotaro. So I'm not sure what's the strategy for Japan. Maybe they weren't as concerned with winning. Maybe they just wanted to give everyone some game time. And maybe because Fukuoka Kotaro is younger, maybe they thought that he'd be a better bet also in this kind of faster time control format.
Well, you have to remember that the fast time control format is also used in the Globus Cup.
Right, yeah.
And Fukuoka Kotaro did very well in the Globus Cup. He was runner-up.
Yeah.
So maybe they thought that he's a bit of an expert at these fast time controls. Obviously, in Japan, they just don't play fast time controls that often.
Yeah.
So maybe his experience was going to come in handy.
Yeah, Gaza, maybe remind the viewers of exactly how fast this ace match is.
I'm actually not entirely sure what the time controls for the ace match are. I believe is it 40 seconds?
Yeah, I think there's no main time. I think it's just I think it's like maybe one minute or something, and then
I'm going to try and find it.
I remember at the Korean League, I think this year have also gone with Fisher timing. So there's no bill.
Oh, that's right. They use Fisher. They're using Fisher increment.
Yeah, Fisher increment. Yeah.
So I believe it's like something like 20 seconds.
Yeah, increment, and no main time or something like that. It's very quick.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
My apologies. I should know this already, but I don't.
Yeah, but guys, I was just going through the key fu while you're looking at that, and I guess given that it's a half-point game, it might have been just down to some kind of yosei or maybe just a yosei mistake, but it was a very, very close game. So I guess based on the fact that it's so close, it does sound like that potentially Japan could have won this matchup just like Taiwan did. So, but Japan was just missed out by half a point on winning their first match, first possible match. It might be just down to this last code down here as well.
It was half a point.
Yeah,
it was a half-point game. Yes,
and definitely decided by this code. It looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the increments. It's definitely a 20-second increment, by the way. I'm not sure what time the time that they start with, but considering it may as well be no time at all because they make the beginning moves fairly quickly. So
yeah,
I think they probably just start with 1 minute or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, it was a very it almost came down to nerves at the end, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, Kim Jong-hyun, I mean, if you watch the stream, he doesn't seem to. He doesn't seem to be nervous at all. His face doesn't change at all. While Fukuoka Kotaro, he sits like Shinjin So with his foot on the chair, so his knee is up, almost kneeing himself in the chin, fidgeting with his glasses all the time, just. Yeah. Moving his head around a lot. It's quite a stark contrast, but
right.
Yeah, Kim Jong-hyun, he came out the victor in a very exciting, fast game, which meant that Team Japan, Team Neon Kiin, in their very first match, they fall just short of victory.
Yeah. So, based on performance. Produced by the Taiwanese team and the Japanese team so far, it would have to say that maybe they are at least competitive somewhat.
Absolutely. I mean, Team Taiwan. Yeah, sorry. Team Taiwan. I think we all expected they would be competitive, considering they put out their best players.
Yeah.
We know that Zhu Haihong and Wang Wanjun are certainly formidable opponents. Wang Wanjun, beat Won Song Jin in the LG Cup last year.
Yeah.
And, Zhu Haihong is just far and away the best player in Taiwan.
Yeah.
And, Team Japan, we were a little bit less sure of. Japan has relatively been relatively weak in international competition, and they weren't even putting their best players in the team.
Yeah.
But I think that they should be quite satisfied with this performance. Obviously, to get so close to winning the match and not winning has to be disappointing. But
100%.
To get this close, I think proved a lot of people wrong.
Yeah.
Including perhaps myself and you.
Right.
And it looks like they were at least they should be able to win some matches. Or not come last. But in the end, a very impressive performance by Kim Jong-hyun for the Korean team for Jeongkwanjang Cheonnok, winning 2 games. Very, very impressed with him. We do have some more information from some of the comments at some of the viewers that he seemed to. Apparently, he didn't do so well in tournaments, but in the Baduk League, that's where he did his best. And he served in the military in 2018. So he did his military service in 2018.
Yeah, so it's presumably have finished by now. Yep.
Yes. Oh, but obviously he would have finished in I think they take a year or something like that.
Right. And then now he's back to playing Baduk, and so it's pretty cool.
Yes, and still quite strong at it.
Yeah.
Yes. So so also that team is so that his team Jeongkwanjang Cheonnok. So they've now won 2 matches via the ace. So
yeah, and this
getting
one
some good practice in the ace ones. And do we have an update? I think we've got a little bit of an update in the current match going on between beautiful Hapcheon and Team Taiwan.
Yeah. So what's happened is that so this is the live stream right now, which is between the Team Taiwan and this beautiful Hapcheon. And what we have is that Park Jung-hwan has won his game versus Xu Haohong, and Wang Yeonjun is seen here playing Park Yun. And Wang is falling behind quite a bit at the moment, but according to AI about actually it's just about 5 points. Okay, not too bad. Or maybe about 7 points. Yeah.
No, actually, no. He's behind by quite a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's behind by about 15 points.
Right. It's not clear.
It looks like I don't. For some reason,
20 points.
not.
Yeah.
That's not the current position.
All right. So he's behind by 20 odd points. 18.2.
There
points,
we go. Yeah.
And then you have, as far as I can see on Fox, we have also Chen Chi-rae playing Park Jung-hyun and Ling Junyan playing Kim Ji-hui at the moment as well. They're reasonably even at the moment, but it could be heading towards a 2-0 score for Taiwan anytime soon. So
yes, I'm imagining that boards 3 and 4 didn't started later.
Yeah.
So,
they started.
So
later.
this will be the game with the soonest finish. This current one, Park Young-hun versus Wang Wanjun. I think it's looking quite dire for Wang Wanjun.
Yeah. So So, but obviously not going to write off Taiwan just yet. They could go 2-2 and still need the ace match. But this year in the Korean League, I'm looking forward to most the Taiwan and Team Japan games. And obviously, whenever Shin Jin-so plays. But obviously, in the last round, Shin Jin-so almost was at risk of losing, according to AI. But the situation was so complicated that maybe it wasn't really, if you look at it from a human's perspective. But that's the Korean League this season, Gaza. Now, Gaza, before we head to the calendar, do we have anything else you wanted to cover about the this week?
Yes. There are two things.
Yeah.
One, you've forgotten about the most important thing of all,
Which is,
and that is that we have a new member of the 1,000 Win Club.
oh yes, new member of the 1,000 Win Cup. That would be Gaza. Shall we?
That would be the legend himself, Kang Dongyun.
Now, Gaza, you were a little bit surprised, or you were you were not sure who would become the 15th Korean player with 1,000 wins.
Yes, this is right. I knew that there were four players. There were four Korean players that were around the 950 win mark, or a couple of them were a few dozen more than that. But there were four players that I'm pretty sure are going to hit the 1,000 wins this year. That is Kim Ji-sok, Won Song-jin, Park Jun-hwan, and Kang Dongyun. And for most of last year, of those four players, Park Jun-hwan was ahead.
Yeah.
And I assumed that he would be getting to 1,000 wins, if not at the end of 2022, then at least early 2023 and before the other three players, before those other three.
Right.
But Kang Dongyun all of a sudden has just won a ton of games suddenly.
Right, yeah.
And has leaped ahead of Park Jun-hwan and has gotten to 1,000 wins.
Nicely done. Yeah.
On like the stroke of 2023.
Yeah. And no doubt helped by Kyeoje's rubbish performance.
Well, yeah, Kyeoje did help him in one of those wins in was it the LG Cup? So
yeah,
I'm sure Kang Dongyun will be thanking Kyeoje.
Yeah.
Kyeoje always likes thanking people when he wins, so
right. Yeah.
I'm sure he won't mind the favor being returned.
Yeah. What comes around goes around. Yeah.
Yeah, but Kang Dongyun, when we've covered players reaching 1,000 wins in earlier editions of the podcast, they've mainly been older players in their late 50s or 60s, who certainly did well in their career, but took a little bit of time to get to that final milestone and reach it in the twilight of their career. Kang Dongyun, on the other hand, he's still a formidable, he's still a top player. He's still top 5 in Korea. He had a great 2022.
Yeah.
And he's still only I think he only turns 34 this year.
And he's still in the top 5 in Korea. That's at 34. That's quite amazing, yeah.
Yeah, and not only did he make the Nongshim Cup team, but he ended up winning 4 games?
Was it 3 maybe? He's won against Fanting Yu, and then he beat Shu Chaiyuan, and then he fell to
then he beat Tweljaxi, and then he beat Yu Zhengqi.
Yeah, so he had 4 games before falling to Lian Xiao, so he's done pretty well.
Lian Xiao, yes. Yeah, so and he's interesting, so but he has been around for a while. He won the Fujitsu Cup.
Yep.
In 2009. That's how long he's been around. He won the Fujitsu Cup. He won the LG Cup 7 years later in 2016. He was a part of the Asian Games team that won for Korea, that won in 2010.
Which event did he win? The individual or the team?
The team. There wasn't an individual. He won the team event.
Yep. Okay.
In 2010, but he did win an individual medal, gold medal in the World Mind Sports Games.
Right.
In 2008. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
In the domestic scene, he won the Chunwon.
Yeah.
Which I think is a old, a discontinued event.
Right.
He was runner-up in the Myeongin in 2008. He's been runner-up in the KBS Cup, the Maxim Cup.
Right.
He's won a few titles that are no longer around, like King of Kings.
Right.
In 2007, and recently he won the he won the Weiqi Construction Cup only just last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems to have taken a liking in the faster games suddenly.
Yeah.
Which is a bit strange for someone, in their 30s.
In the 30s, yeah. You typically expect potentially a younger player to be more familiar with the position or have faster reaction times, but yeah, he's been doing quite well in short time control games.
Yes. Yeah, he's clearly still going strong. He's in the JAR League doing fine there. He didn't have a good JAR League in 2021, but he certainly made up for it in 2022.
Yeah.
He recently made the semi-final of the LG Cup. Yeah, just he's definitely had a resurgence in his career, and he's not going to be stopping at 1,000 wins. He's going to get quite a few more before he quits.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definite, and apparently he's also now. I'm not familiar with. I don't really know any pros. Well, I know one, but I don't really. Not really friends with any of these guys, but I have heard that Kang Dongyun is seemingly like everyone. He's a very nice guy.
Yeah. Right.
Apparently, I've been told that when Ayama goes to Korea, he stays at Kang Dongyun's house.
All right. Yeah.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah. Nice.
He seems to be friends with just about everyone. So, that's what I've been told. But yeah, obviously seems like a very nice guy and also a very strong player.
Yeah.
So, and big congratulations to him to get 1,000 wins.
Big congrats.
He's the 15th. He's the 15th Korean. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how. I don't remember how many Japanese players have gotten to 1,000 wins.
Right.
I always get it wrong. Actually, whenever I do it, so I think he might be the 45th player. He might be the 45th player,
right?
In professional Go to reach 1,000 wins. Yes.
Yeah, and someone mentioned in the comments that Kang Dongyun didn't have to do military service because he's won the Fujitsu Cup. I'm not sure how accurate that might be, but I do believe that at some point in the past, Korea did give out military exemptions for winning international majors, but they kind of stopped that after a while. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah. In the past, yes, if you won a world major, you got exempt from military service.
Right.
But yeah, nowadays it has to be the Asian Games. Right. But in any case, even if he didn't get exemption for the Fujitsu Cup, he did end up winning the Asian Games.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he would have gotten an exemption from that anyway.
And there's an argument erupted in the chat saying that whether he's gotten his exemption from the Guangzhou Asian Games or from Fujitsu Cup. So we have to kind of find out who's right at some point. But let's see.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. I can try and confirm that.
Right.
With some people who would know better than myself, but
yeah.
In any case, I think we can all agree that he did get an exemption.
Yeah. So it's done pretty well. Also, 1,000 wins, definitely an achievement wherever you go in the world. So potentially no one in China has achieved 1,000 wins, just because the number of games in China is just much smaller compared to Korea, where they have regular competitions.
And according to this title here, he got the 1,000 wins by defeating Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, take that.
The hero, the Baduk League hero. So
well, there you go.
Small world. Wait, did he? He didn't win. Was it a Baduk League game that he got the 1,000th win?
I can't remember. Potentially.
I'm gonna try and find out.
Yeah.
So he got it on the 2nd, right?
Yeah. So now I do remember getting this info about him getting 1,000 wins potentially in this.
No, it wasn't
website.
a Baduk League game.
But he's definitely whatever he did, he's done pretty well for himself. Yeah. All right, Gaza. Was there any?
Yeah, and one more thing. I wanted to mention our Patreon.
A Patreon, yes, Patreon.
because we do have I want to mention that we have a patron.
Yeah. Oh, we do. Yes, we have one paid. So on our Patreon, which you can access via Patreon/Proweiqi, there's already one Patreon there.
Patreon.com/Proweiqi.
Yeah, Patreon.com/Proweiqi. Yes. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patron or Mrs. or Ms. Patron.
Yeah.
Very, very, very generous.
Yes.
To help out. But for anyone else, you don't obviously it's not obligatory.
Yeah.
To give us money or to give money to the Patreon.
Yeah.
For anyone that just watches, we really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm absolutely stoked that we got a patron.
Yeah.
We will be donating. So the idea is that any money that we get, we will donate to for now, the Australian Go Association.
Yeah.
We'll I'm not sure what the arrangement is for the donation. Like maybe we'll donate it at the middle of the year or something like that.
Yeah. Maybe before tax time in Australia, so we can get the maximum tax benefits.
But no. Thank you to everyone that watches the podcast. It's really good to get feedback.
Yeah.
And to know that people find our ramblings entertaining or informative or both.
Yeah. Hopefully neither. Or no, I mean not neither. But you keep listening. Whatever the case may be, our patrons here. Proceeds will go to we've donated. Okay, so Gaza, is it time for the calendar? It sounds like.
Yeah, let's have a look at the calendar.
Let's look at the calendar. Of course, we're sitting on the Sunday, which means that we're looking at the Team Taiwan. What's happening over the next week? Anything big happening?
We've got so do we unfortunately we no longer have the Korea's Strongest Women's Final games 4 and 5. They're not going to be played because Choi Jeong won 3-0.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But there are actually there are some games that we can put in there.
So
there actually there's going to be some Maxim Cup games.
Right.
On the 9th and 10th, so tomorrow and Tuesday, Byun Sang-il is playing. He's actually playing Na-hyun tomorrow. So Na-hyun actually has military service, but I'm guessing he's allowed to play some games. It seems like he might be able to play the Maxim Cup. I remember when Lee Ji-hyun, when he took military service, he was still allowed to play the Maxim Cup.
Yeah, I think he was wearing the Navy uniform or something when he appeared.
Yes, he was wearing his Navy uniform. So maybe in this case with the Maxim Cup, because it's a special like 9-dan tournament where you sort of get invited. Right. Like maybe you're allowed, like that's an exemption.
Right.
It's an exemption to the typical withdrawals for military service. So but Na-hyun will be playing Byun Sang-il. That should be a fun game.
Interesting.
On Tuesday, Choi Cho-han is playing Won Song-jin in the Maxim Cup.
Yeah.
And also Yoon Jun-sang, who beat Shin Jin-so last year in the Maxim Cup. He's going to be playing Kim Seung-jae.
Very nice.
Yes. Of course, we're going to have the Korean League continuing.
Yep.
I'm not sure if there's any particular games worth mentioning. Kicks, which is Shin Jin-so's team, will be playing Siltrion, which is Shin Jin-so's former team.
Yeah.
But it's a completely different team now.
Yeah.
Team Taiwan will be playing POSCO Chemical.
Very nice.
Nihon Kiin, they're also going to be playing Celtrion. Celtrion's going to be playing twice in the next round of the Baduk League.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have the matchups yet. Like
Yeah.
who is like who the players, which players are playing each other. So we don't have the player matches yet, but that's basically what's happening in Korea.
Yep.
In Japan, there's a big game
one
this week. Yes,
which is
and
again
that
different
is
color as well. That's the Kisei final game 1.
yes, absolutely. Kisei final game 1. Now we haven't done much of a preview for this, but this is Ichiriki Ryo versus Shibano Toramaru. This is the first. I think this is their first ever match in a major, a Japanese major.
Could it be their first time ever facing off in the final of a major 7 or major 3? I don't think they have played in the major 7 before.
Oh, no, I don't think they have. No.
So yeah.
So
this will be a big one.
This is
huge.
This is highly anticipated. I'm going to be watching this, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the first time in 10 years that Iyama is not playing in the Kisei final.
Right. Yeah.
So perhaps this is a new era.
Yeah.
A new Kisei era.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely going to be watching it, and it's going to finish on the Friday. So
yeah,
it'll probably finish just before we start recording the next podcast, because we are planning on doing the next podcast on Friday.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it'll be massive.
Yeah. It's I'm keen. It's a 2-day game. For those unfamiliar, the Kisei matches, it's best of 7.
Yeah.
And each game takes 2 days. They have 8 hours main time.
Yeah. Now, for a bit of irony, you notice that Yama-Yuta is playing a Meijin League game on the same day as the Kisei game 1. So Yama-Yuta must be thinking, I'm missing out on this. Because he lost to Ichiriki Ryo 4-3 last term. He also lost. Did he not lose the Honimbo or the Meijin to? Oh, he might have lost the Meijin to Shibano 4-3.
He lost the Meijin 4-3 to Shibano. He lost the Kisei 4-3 to Ichiriki.
But he still holds on to the Honimbo.
He still holds on to the Honimbo. He still has the Urza.
Yeah.
And he still has the Gosei.
Yep.
But yes, it looks like obviously he wouldn't have been able to play this. They would have had to reschedule this Meijin League game if Iyama was playing the Kisei, but he's not.
No.
So he's going to be playing Yu Zhengqi in the Meijin League.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no one's going to be watching that because they're going to be watching the Kisei.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm not even sure if they even stream the Meijin League game now. Probably not.
They don't always stream Meijin League games. Sometimes they do, I think.
Right.
I think it's very rare. Yeah. I really don't know.
Yeah, no
worries. All the talk is going to be the Kisei. Like I don't even know. Like, they've obviously played before in leagues.
Yeah.
And I remember in 2021 there was a very interesting game between Shibano and Ichiriki where Shibano seemed to be in. Shibano won a 2-step ko, I believe.
Yeah.
It seemed like he's. Yeah, it was such a crazy. It was a pretty interesting game, I would say, because to my mind it looked like Ichiriki just messed up a ko, but it turned out when I looked at an AI later, it said that he was always losing. Like he was always behind anyway.
Right.
But,
right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if either of them have a bit of a have an edge over the other in terms of the mental game.
Yeah.
If anything, I would say maybe Shibano has a bit of an edge mentally.
Right.
Ichiriki seems to falter, or seems to get a bit nervous when it comes to these title matches. Considering, his losses, he lost the Honinbo 4-0 and then losing the Tengen to Seki Kitaro, which was very unexpected.
Right, yeah.
So I would have to say, if I had to favour anyone, I would actually favour Shibano in this best of 7 match.
Yeah.
Just just because I think he's got a bit better mental fortitude. But I'm hoping that we get 7 games. It's always great to see a game 7, but it starts at game 1. So maybe we shouldn't get too ahead of ourselves, but I really hope that we get some good quality games.
Yeah, definitely one to look forward to. Could decide could be the beginning of the end of the Yama Yuta. All right, so Gaza, thank you very much for your as always great info, and I think it's time to say goodbye to our viewers.
Yes, goodbye, and hope to see you again.
Goodbye and see you again. All right,